Alright guys, I'm just going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I started to shoot some content putting this together. It didn't take me very long to get it all together, but I started the camera. I was filming, and after about 2 minutes of content the camera died, and I was so focused on doing what I was doing that I didn't even look up to check the camera. So I apologize in advance for that. I'm sorry that you guys didn't get to see me put this together. But I'll just kind of walk you through step by step kind of what I did, if I can remember everything correctly. Just try to dive into this real quick and I'll show you what I did here. The piece of Lucabond, I told you it's about a 1/2 inch or so. It was a little bit thicker than I wanted, but it actually turned out to be perfect. Everything mounted on here pretty securely, so I have no complaints on that. But the piece of Lucabond, it turned out to be perfect. It is cut out for the area that I want to put it at. I used some sheet metal that I had left over from the floor panels and cut them out and made like little brackets to be able to mount kind of to the bottom area of the metal in the dash. I'll show you in a bit, but I do have some wires running back behind this. It's not really what I wanted to do, but to clean it up the way I wanted, that was the only option I had. So I'll get into that in a minute. I did make a list of things that are going to be run on the fuse block and the relays, and I also drew up a wiring schematic. If you're like me, you want to be able to keep up with what wire goes to what's powering what, in case I was to forget. I'll just jump into the fuse block first. You have your ground, or you have your ground on this side. This is where your ground wire is going to come in at. This area right here is all your grounds, and what you can see, I already have the wiring ran to it with all the grounds and everything. So my ground wire, my main ground wire and everything is going to come into this, and all my grounds will be ran to that. On this side where the relays go, you got your power on this end. This is where your power is going to go. So all of these wires are obviously going to be ran to power and run through the fuses and everything else. So here's my relays. I got 6 relays, and I'll try to address, what wire goes to what. So when you order relays, they are Amazon relays. They're 30/40 amps or whatever, but it comes with the diagram to show you what wire goes to what and how you want to wire it up. So on these, for instance, they told me that black is obviously my ground, red was my power, blue was my component, so that's going to go to whatever you're powering up, and the white is going to go to your trigger, your toggle switch or whatever. And you have to look on that when you get to your relays, and it has like different numbers on it. I can't really remember offhand what it said, but you follow that on how you want to wire it up. So the red was my power, the black was my ground, the blue is the component wire, which means whatever it's powering up. Say for instance a fuel pump or your nitrous system, your fans or whatever. And then the white wire is your trigger switch, your toggle switch or whatever. Like I said, I had to run some wires on the back. I had to extend some. I don't like having to splice and they be back there, but that was the only option I had, and hopefully I don't have any issues in that in the future. So for instance, these are, I know you can't really see them, but they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bus bar. So here is a trigger wire. So and then here next to it is going to be the component wire. So say for instance you're going to hit your toggle. It's going to send power through your toggle wire into the relay, turn the relay on, and the power is going to send back out through the component wire, your blue wire, here on this section right here, and that's going to turn on the component. So Say this right here is going to be my fuel pump. So got this run to my toggle for the fuel pump. This is going to be the wire that feeds to the fuel pump to turn it on. So I'm going to hit my switch, going to feed to the relay and the fuse panel and everything, turn the relay on, boom, shoot back out through my component wire and go to the fuel pump to turn the fuel pump on. May not have to have all these. I can always add later because I have room down here to add, and I have room to add more relays if need be. It's about all there is to it. It looks complicated, but once you start doing it and you put it together, it's really not that bad. It's really not that complicated. So I think it looks amazing. I think it turned out perfect. Like I said, I know you can't see the numbers and everything that's numbered, but we're going to end up trying to label things. Here's the cover for this, and it's numbered as well, so I know what's what. So no, you can't really see that. I ended up ordering me one of those Amazon label makers. I was just playing with it. It's pretty cool. I mean, you download an app, download it to your phone, and Bluetooth it to this, and you just type in what you want to print off, and I mean within seconds it'll print off. There you go, you can kind of see better. It'll print off what you want to label. So I can use these. They're kind of bigger than I wanted, but you can always take scissors and cut them and whatnot. I told you that I wanted to do something with a carbon fiber look, and I ordered a piece of plastic or whatever off of Amazon, and then I put some carbon fiber sticker on it. I know I probably could have ordered a carbon fiber piece, but this was pretty cheap. I mean, I got like, I don't know, $8-10 in this piece right here. I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. This turned out looking really good. I've got my nitrous set up for the nitrous system up here, and then of course you got like ignition, push start, you know, for instance, fuel pump fans and things like that. I probably could have spent a little extra money and just bought one ready to go, but if you want to make something yourself and make it yours, then I take the time to do something like this. I told you that in the previous videos that this is going to go in the section where the heat and air controls and the stereo and stuff went in the console. This takes the place of that. I didn't want to do the whole roll bar top mounted section or piece or whatever, but I think this turned out pretty good. So you guys let me know what you think about that. Anyways, that kind of wraps that up, and I'll try to show you some things in the car and what we've already got done. And this is step by step and day by day. This is not all in one day. I'm only doing a little bit at a time because I've been doing other things and whatnot. You know how life is. I've just been kind of busy. Also, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask, because I'll try to guide you in the right direction and help you out as best I can. But anyways, that'll wrap that up, and we'll move on to the next. Appreciate it. Alright, let's start at the back of the car. This is not the battery I'm going to be using, by the way. This battery is actually too big to fit in our tray, our battery tray that we put in. But I just used it to give me some power to run to the front of the car and be able to test to make sure that we got power up there. I know I had talked about these turn-off ends, and I don't think they're going to be an issue. They seem pretty legit. They just seem really, I don't know, not very durable, but I think they'll be fine. anyways, the battery tray's in there, and that's what I was looking for. I mean, I'm happy about that. That looks pretty good. Sets down in there. It's kind of secluded, and like I said, I've got a plastic cover that goes over this around here, so you won't really see much of that stuff. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool that worked out. And it is just bolted in. I didn't weld it or anything. I know I said something about doing some tack welds, but that thing, it's pretty sturdy, pretty solid. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. But anyways, we do have our shut-off switch. It's in, which I've had that in the car for a while, but we've got it wired up. Today I went and got some rubber grommets because I cut 2 holes out to run to the battery switch or cutoff switch on the other side. And this is just bare metal, and I don't want to take a chance on, wires chafing or anything. I've got it pretty pulled away from the metal already, but I'm going to put some rubber grommets in there, bushing or whatever, and run the wires through there, so that way I'm not taking a chance on, cutting the wires or shorting something out, because that ain't going to be good. But if you can see, the wires run up through there. They run all the way up to the front, behind some plastic and underneath the carpet, all that good stuff. But I want to try to get in here and show you that we have power. But before that, obviously, I have to turn this on. Oh, it already is on. I got that turned on. I said did that earlier. Alright, so you can see where the ground and the power wire come through here. They actually come up behind the carpet and come through here, and I have the dash or firewall pass-throughs are mounted right here, and it was hard for me to get the carpet back in there, so I didn't really want to pull it back out. But just know they're right there. So I have power and I have a ground right here. So these wires come through, and they're connected to. I got a power here, and then I have a ground here, and then there's a ground cable, which is what I have this attached to, because I'm going to attach that to the car, but I'm using that to be able to run my test light. But anyways, so you have the power that comes here, and then I have a switch, toggle switch, to turn like full power on to this. I didn't want to, of course you don't want to just turn the battery switch on back there and to power up all of this. That's not what I was shooting for. So I actually have a toggle wired in that comes through here or from our switch, and gives it power to this, in which of course you can see that this powers up everything else and turns it all on. It seemed very difficult in my head when I was doing all this, but after I started putting it together, it was basically just self-explanatory of what you got to do. If you know power and ground, you know where power needs to go to, you know where ground needs to go to, then it just goes hand in hand with everything. So I was actually pretty happy about that, and it made it a little bit easier. I think I had said something, I can't remember if I did or not, about a label gun that I got from Amazon, and then of course I've labeled the relays, and I labeled some wires. I didn't get anything mixed up, in which some of these are just extra, but I know I have like fuel pump and fans and all that stuff. I can change this stuff later, because I was just labeling it so I could keep up with the wires and what went to what. So but anyways, I'll show you the toggle panel. I think that looks pretty sweet. I mean, that looks like something you would buy at a store, honestly. Or offline, I mean like Jegs or Racecar makes a nice one. I think this turned out pretty good. I mean, this is mine. Like, nobody else has that. So I could have bought something offline and put it in the car and use that, but I was like, man, I'm all about making something my own, and like something that nobody else has. and this was an opportunity to do that, one of those types of deals. So I went for it, and I think it turned out pretty sweet. So I'll go ahead and show you that we have power. So there's the main power switch that I was telling you I had, and it lights up. I mean, I know it lights up, but just because it lights up don't mean you have power, I guess you could say. But we do have power, and it does power up the fuse panel. This is the start button. I thought that was pretty neat. So with the halo ring in it and stuff, just the Amazon buy. So I got that, put that in there. But I'll try to show you that we have power, and where we have power and where we don't have power. So I'm going to turn the switch back off so you guys can see. The switch is off. We have no power. No power anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to turn the switch on. We have power. We have power. We have power. So my toggle switch that I have on the panel up there, when I hit that, it turns power to this and powers up everything else. Pretty cool setup there. I'm trying to show you that we have power to, let's see, we'll just go to this first one here. I'm trying to hold this camera as best I can, guys. We have no power, and my test light's not coming on. So that's going to be the component outlet right there. That's where, like, so say this is the fuel pump. Turn my toggle on, it goes to the relay, powers the relay on, the power comes back out, and it's going to feed to right here. Obviously there's no power on there yet because I don't have the toggle on. So I'm going to turn the toggle on. You can probably hear it. Power. The light's on. So we have power there. Sweet. And they all work. See, there's no power there. Hit the second toggle. We have power. Go to this one. There's no power. Toggle on. Boom. There's power. It's lighting up. So I guess the way I explained it to you guys is how it works. If you have questions, just ask me. I'll try to answer them the best I can, honestly. We can we can talk about it offline or something if you want. Turn all these off. Power. But I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, you guys let me know what you think. I'm all open. I'm all ears about opinions and how it turned out, and you know, let us know if or let me know at least if I did a decent job on it or not. Oh, just a little side note. I do have the cherry picker out. I'm pulling the motor back out here, and probably as soon as I cut this video off, before I go in and start doing some editing tonight, because I'd like to have this video put up at least by the end of the weekend or maybe beginning of next week. But we're about to pull the motor back out. I know I had said something in the last video about what kind of motor we're running and the size and everything, and I think I had actually slipped up and wasn't supposed to say anything, but we got to pull the pistons out of it. So the pistons, they are dome pistons that are in it now, but they're not big enough. The compression is not high enough for what I'm shooting for the what we got going on, I guess you can say, and what we're running inside the motor. But we're pulling the motor back out, and I really wanted to try to test fit those headers that I got before I tore down the motor and stuff, but I know they're gonna fit. That's for the car. I'll just worry about that later. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna work on that. Man, I feel like this thing is not focused. There we go. I'm still learning this camera. I'm not used to this fancy stuff. But anyways, I ordered another set of pistons. I ordered the ones that I need. Bigger domes. I guess I should clarify that the pistons aren't big enough. Yes, the bore size is big enough. That's fine. But these are domes. I need bigger dome pistons to bring the compression up for anybody out there that was like, what? Didn't understand it. So the pistons that are in the motor now are a 30cc dome piston, and the compression was almost at 11, and I'm from what I know in the setup that we're running, I need at least 12 to 12 and a half. And my local machine shop, pretty good friends. Well, I can't say good friends, but I know the guy well, and he helps me out and tells me a lot of specs and what I should do. So instead of having the heads milled or having the deck or the block decked and all that stuff, he said the easiest route and probably the cheapest route would be to just order a bigger dome piston. But that being said, we go putting the bigger dome piston in there, then we have to make sure we've got valve clearance. We might end up having to do some Play-Dohing and testing and make sure that we're not going to have any clearance issues as far as the valves hitting. That's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother setup for content, and I can't wait to do that. I think that's going to be great, because this little stuff we're doing right now, to me, is, I mean, it's fun and it's a learning step, but it's kind of boring. Like I'm ready for the real deal stuff. I'm ready for the motor build, transmission build, and we'll talk about the rear end later on. But you know, I'm ready for that kind of stuff. Once we get this motor in here and we start tinkering around with all that good stuff, then I think that's really going to kick off this channel. People can see what we got going on. So we don't have no sponsors. We don't have nobody. I mean, I'm all ears for anybody that wants to help us out on this build and help this channel grow, because I can definitely use it. But you can't go out here and beg people to sponsor you and help you out with your stuff. You got to prove that you're worthy. So it's another thing that we're doing. Maybe one of these days somebody will be calling me or emailing me and saying, hey, you know, we've been checking out your channel. You know, we would like to, you know, send you a set of race shocks, or, you know, or try this part, or hell, even they'll send me a nitrous kit to put on this thing. You know, it's just little stuff like that we're shooting for, and maybe in the future it'll happen. But right now my goal is to just be doing what I'm doing. I think it's going pretty good. I appreciate the support, the follows, the subscribe, everybody subscribing to us. You know, I don't really get a lot of feedback from anybody, but I'm sure that'll happen eventually. Don't forget my Instagram, and like I said before, I don't post a lot on there, but I try to as much as I can. Instagram, Team Sharp Racing, and it's got our logo on the I don't know, I guess profile picture or whatever you call it. I got a Facebook page, Team Sharp Racing, but I don't really use it much because I use my personal page, and I really don't want a bunch of people trying to follow me on there. I don't care if they did end up finding me on there, but I prefer that not be. I still want to keep my personal life kind of separate from this, you know what I mean? So anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I need to get this motor pulled out so I can get ready to start tearing it down, because I want to say probably by Wednesday or Thursday, hopefully, the new pistons will be here, and we are going to film and get some content on tearing down the motor, pulling the pistons, and putting the new pistons in. And since we are going to be running nitrous, we're going to be filing the rings and all that good stuff, and I'm going to show you how we do that as well. So anyways, like I said, I'm going to get off here. Appreciate the support, guys. Stay tuned.